So none of the in a reality, in a real time world, none of the users will be logged as a root users. All of them are IAM users. And let's say how you are going to manage, like let's say for example, you are a manager, you are an architect, or you are a identity access management administrator, or you are a network engineer, or you are a DevOps engineer, or you are a infrastructure engineer. Based on the role, right? Based on the role, users will get permissions actually. And let me let me explain what does that mean is. So let's say I'm a DevOps engineer in the current environment, right? And I'm gonna need access to only EC2, right? Only EC2. Or for example, I am kind of like a technical lead. I should have access to most of the AWS services, infra services like IAM, storage services like S3, and identity access management services like IAM, infra services like EC2, things like that. So what I can do, what IAM team will do, they will create a user account, a specific user account called IAM user account. Okay, IAM user account. IAM means Identity Access Management, and they will create a user account and they will add necessary permissions for that user account. Okay, necessary permissions for that user account. Now, let's say for example, I am a DevOps engineer and I will have access to multiple services within the AWS. So all those there will be an account created called, for example, whatever DevOps or operations or whatever the account, right? And all permissions required permissions will be attached to this account. Like remember, like groups, right? Like user groups, like that. So all the requested permissions will be attached to a specific account, specific group. Now, new resources will be added to that group. Let's say, for example, I'm hired as a DevOps engineer. I'm going to need same permissions as existing DevOps engineer, right? What they'll do, they'll create an account for me and they'll add me to that specific group so that I can get access to whatever the access they have. Right? Let me jump in. Any questions till now? Okay, so let me jump in what I was talking about. Okay.
So is it like a security permission?
Yeah, yeah, security purpose only. That's the main goal, right? Not everybody can get like a complete access, right? Because if everybody will get complete access,
It
So for
depends
that
on
specific group, they will give access.
yes, whatever the access required for them,
Mhm.
for their team, so that's how they will give a specific access. Okay. Let me show you in a reality how it works. Okay, pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, yeah. So if I go to the services, right? AWS has these many services, and I don't think all of them required to have access to these many services, right? For example, let's say we have a Linux administrator. He should have only readable access to EC2 instances, so he can go and try to get the details and log in and apply patches like a yum update, yum install, things like that. But he cannot terminate an instance. He is not supposed to terminate an instance, right? That's the way this whole IAM will be designed. Now let me show you what I was talking about. So IAM means Identity Access Management. Let's navigate to IAM, right? Let me go to IAM. Okay. And once I can go here, what I'll do, I'll just create a IAM user account. Okay. And I can give like I can give like a user, for example. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's not worry about it. So let me add a user, right? Let me add a user called, for example, sysadmin, or no, for Jenkins user. Example, let's say Jenkins user. Provide user access to AWS Management Console too. Yeah, okay, I can provide him, right? I want to create an IAM user, right? I want to create an IAM user. Auto-generated password or custom password. I can give a custom password for this guy, okay? And I will add, okay, it's already exist, right? And let me go ahead and you see that this user group, add user to a specific group. Every user must be attached to at least one group. Okay, in Linux also the same thing, right? A user itself is a group, and a user can be added to multiple groups so that each group has a different set of permissions. So that user, let's say the user attached to a multiple groups, that multiple groups will have a multiple set of permissions. So automatically the user gets multiple set of permissions. Okay. If you look at one of these permissions, right, one of these groups, you see that, so this group, right, let's see what we have in that group. Okay, so this group has let's go to permissions. This group has only EC2 full access. So that means what he can do, whoever is attached to this specific group, that person will get only EC2 full access. Full means he can create, he can terminate, he can do whatever the full permissions to the Amazon EC2, right? Now let's go ahead and attach this specific user to EC2, EC2 full permissions, okay? Now I can just go ahead and create that user. You see that user, right? And this is a, if you look at the username and the password that I gave, right? And if I look at this download CSV file, what the CSV file has, the CSV file will have credentials of that specific user, like a username and a blah blah blah. Okay. Now let's go add you view user. Let's, for example, let's say if you log in, right? If you log in using console, which I just logged in, right? Console, I can put username and a password. But what if I want to run any script? Yesterday, remember, you like authentication failure, right? Like unable to create instance because no credentials were found, right? Let's say if you need to use from CLI, right? How can you use it? You cannot use username or a password for some instances. And for some instances, you can use instance means not EC2 instances that I'm talking about. Some scenarios you cannot use username and a password. Some scenarios you can use username and a passwords, right? And there is another way of authentication called access key, secret key. So each user will get an access key, secret key. Right here, if you go to security credentials, okay, and you see that access keys, create access keys, okay, you see that command line, use cases, yes, we need to use from command line, right? And let's go ahead and create access key, secret key, right? You see that this is access key and this is secret key, okay? So what we can do, I can just download that access key, secret key, right? Because once it's gone, I cannot retrieve the secret key. I need to create a new ones. Okay, now we have access key, secret key, but before we jump into that Ansible code, how we can use it, right? Let me go ahead and log out. Let me go ahead and log out from here. Okay. Log back in as an IAM user. I need to provide the account ID in order to log in as an IAM user. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to capture that account ID. Let me go ahead and get the account ID first. Okay. In the right side corner, if you click on the right side corner, not that one, this one, this is account ID. Let me go ahead and copy and sign out, log back in as an IAM user, not a root user. Let me go ahead and paste that account ID. And username, what is the username? Jenkins123, right? That's the username that I gave, right? That's the password. So user need to change the password. Remember, when some people will send you a link and a one-time passcode for your access for their application, and you need to change the passcode, right? This is how it works in a back end. New password, confirm password. You see that Jenkins user in the right side corner, Jenkins user at the rate for this account. Now he is an IAM user, right? And he should have only permissions to EC2 because those are the only permissions that we gave him, right? Now let me go ahead and access another. Let me go ahead and create another IAM user, and let's see what happens. You see that access denied because this guy does not have any permissions related to IAM. He has only permissions to create an EC2 instance and terminate an EC2 instance and delete an EC2 instance, anything related to EC2 because he has only EC2 full permissions. Are you guys with me? Can you guys type Y in the chat if you are with me? Okay, now let's go ahead and create an Ansible playbook. Right, Ansible playbook to create an EC2 instance, right? And let's use the EC2 module instead of AWS blah 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 dot. Okay, so what I'll do, I can just go here. I'll just use simple way. I can write a playbook, right? Create ec2.yml, right? Iphones host, local host tasks. I can just write simple create an EC2. I would use EC2 module and all the parameters goes inside the module. So let me copy some parameters from there. Okay, so these are the some parameters that we need to provide. Right. Okay. Now I need to fix the indentation. I don't need any group. Right. Need to fix the indentation. Just need only one instance. Yes, that's fine. This goes here. I can say Amazon Linux. Just a name tag. It can be anything. Monitoring. I don't use any monitoring. Okay. So VPC subnet ID. Let's use subnet ID. Send public IP true. And a register goes here. Register does not belongs to any module. It's a component of Ansible. Okay. EC2 underscore output. Just to see, I can add a debug statement. What's in that EC2 underscore output, right? So I can add a debug statement saying that. And another task that I'm writing, debug statement. Debug is a module because I know it, right? And this is how we can provide the variables in Ansible, but we will we will discuss about that. Now there are two parameters that I'm missing. Those are access key. You need to provide the access key and the secret key. Access key and the key value, AWS underscore secret key, right? And those two values, remember I did download them. But before that, hey, how you are gonna know you need to provide access key and secret key? Where do you get them? Right? Where do you get them? How you will know, like you need to provide the access key, secret key. Where do you get them, right? If I go to 2.9, okay, that is fine. Let's go to latest. Right? So this is the module. Let's say command F AWS underscore access. You see that? So these are the access key ID and the secret key ID. You need to provide the access key. This is the parameter. Okay. And secret key. You see that AWS secret access key, AWS secret key. You see that this is the parameter. So they changed it. They changed when they upgrade the module to this module actually. Which module? This module, because this is a new version. This is a new version of Ansible. They changed it, but it was a AWS underscore access underscore key, AWS underscore secret underscore key. What they did just removed AWS from the access key and AWS from the secret key. Okay. But now what we can do, let me go ahead and capture those values. Okay. These are the access keys, right? Let me copy the access key. Need one more space, access key. Now, let me go ahead and copy the secret key. Secret key. That is the secret key. Now, I'll change it. Is that June batch? Something like that. Is that my key name?
I think secret key copied twice, 2 times.
Excellent. That's a great catch. Is that my key? I guess so. So I can do just secret.micro is fine. And the AMI, let me go capture that AMI. Okay. I can use, but I can go to DC2, right? I can go to images. I can copy any of those images. That's fine. Just to use this image. Wait, timeout, count one. Those are fine. And remove the space. Now, let me go capture the subnet.
Subnet ID.
Yes. And subnet IDs we can get from VPC dashboard. But let's see if we can get access to VPC dashboard. Is that in the left side subnets? All right, yes. All right, that is good. Let me capture any of these subnets. That's fine. I don't have any sensitive data over here. So now, is that my key? June batch is my key. I don't know. Let me validate. Right? How can I validate? Let's go to EC2 dashboard. Key pairs, you will see key pairs, right? You will see key pairs in the left side. Okay, yeah, this is the June batch. That's the latest one, 16th of June. Okay, so I have the right key pair. Now let me go ahead and run this playbook. Ansible hyphen playbook. I'm gonna run verbose mode. That means VVV, and let's see what happens. Okay, create EC2. That verbose mode will give me output. You see that? So it will give me the output like this. Okay, okay, okay. Output like this. And even each task will be named like this. You see that the first task is create EC2. Okay. Which Python, because it is complaining about Boto. Okay. So what I'll do, I can just hyphen extra hyphen vars Ansible underscore Python underscore interpreter, right? Equals to close it. On it. It's working this time. And let's go ahead and validate whether that instance is being created or not. Okay. I go to EC tools, right? You see that instance is being created actually. Okay. Remember, this user did not have any permissions to create an IAM user, but this user able to see, this user created this instance, able to see the EC2 dashboard, and let's see if this user will be able to terminate that instance, right? Terminate that instance. There you go. He do have a permissions to terminate instance. That means this user have 100% control of only EC2. He was given only EC2 permissions. He has only EC2. Are you guys with me? Can you guys type Y in the chat if you are with me?
Vishnu, I have a question. Why you don't access Lambda? Can you try it, Lambda?
Yeah, he cannot. Yes. You see that? This guy does not have a permissions, Lambda permissions. Okay. So he has only EC2 he got only EC2 permissions. Say, now I need to update this user permissions, right? You can, this guy cannot update this user permissions because he doesn't have IAM permissions, right? What you need to do, you need to log back in as a root user or the guy who has absolute permissions of IAM. That means IAM user, either root user or IAM user, but this IAM user should have a permissions to IAM as well. So right now I had only one user, but that user does not have permissions to IAM. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna log back in as a root user and update that user permissions to have IAM permissions as well. And I will validate whether those permissions are working or not. Okay. Bear with me, just give me 1 more minute. Okay. Now I can go to IAM. I can go to groups actually. So the permissions should be added to the groups, not to the user. And the user should be added to the group as well. So I can add permissions, attach a policy. I can give IAM full permissions. Right? There is a policy called IAM full permissions, right? Add permissions. Now this guy has IAM full access as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to log out. Okay, log back in as an IAM user. As an IAM user only. Again, I forgot. To capture the okay. So I can just grab it from here. Okay, let's go here. There you go. and the Jenkins 123. I can provide my password. Now I gave him IAM permissions, right? Again, Jenkins 123 at that account, right? Now this time he'll be able to see, and he'll be able to see the users, policies, blah, 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 right? Because he has full permissions right now. Okay. And one more thing is you cannot commit your access key secret key to public GitHub repository because anybody can access your AWS account. So those secret keys, access keys will not be stored in visible place. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, because so this video has those access keys, secret keys, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete that user. Okay. Because anybody, if they use that user access key, secret key, they can create EC2s, they can create anything, they can create like, they can do so many things if I commit them to public, right? It's a security. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to IAM. And users, and this user, right? Delete user. 1, 2, 3. Done. Deleted this user. Okay. Any other questions?